Now we will understand the managing role stress. So what is stress? Stress is the response of people to when a people is in stress. कब होगा वो person stress में? जब उसको बहुत सारा उसके ऊपर बहुत सारे डिमांड्स होंगे, अनरीजनेबल प्रेशर डाल दिया जाएगा, अनएक्सेसिव प्रेशर डाल दिया जाएगा, then this person be in stress, right? And nowadays employees stress is a growing concern in the organization. So let's see what is role stress. So role stress is a stress experience in the organization that is related to job. So when a person is not able to fulfill his responsibility, his working on the job, this role stress comes out. So I'm going to discuss some of the common experience role stressors in the form of these steps. So first step here is inter-role distance. So this inter-role distance stress is experienced when there is a conflict between the organization and unorganization, or we can say non-organization roles. For example, I am an employee in the organization. Now I have to, and maybe I am a wife, I am a mother at home. So here an organization, when you have to make a balance between your professional and private life, so this is inter-role distance. So this inter-role distance where you are running and you are trying to maintain the balanced life between your professional and your personal life, your organization or non-organization life, this is called inter-role distance. And a stress can come when you are not able to meet the expectation from your organization and your non-organization roles. So this is one of the role stressors that comes. Second is role stagnation. So role stagnation क्या होता है? When we are stuck in same role. हम डेली आते हैं, लैपटॉप खोलते हैं, अपना डेली का वही काम करते हैं. There is nothing to learn something new. आज से 10 years तक we are doing same work. There is no other opportunity. This is called role stagnation, and this is also one of the stressor. You always think there is nothing to learn something new and I am in stress that how I update myself. Okay, so this is one of the role stagnation इसको बोलते हैं. Next is role expectation conflicts. So it's a type of stress that is generated by different expectation by different significant people like superiors, subordinates and peers. When an employer not able to cope up with their superior expectation, so this is called role expectation conflicts. आपसे कुछ expect किया जा रहा है and you are not able to cope up with that expectation, then you are in stress. This is role expectation conflicts. Next is role erosion. So this type of role stress is occur when the role is to be played by an individual is performed or transferred to someone else. अगर आपका काम किसी और को दे दिया जाएगा, this is role erosion and you will be in stress that you were working on it and this work has been transferred to someone else. Why? What happened that this work is taken and given to someone else? What is the problem? You will be in stress here. So this is called role erosion. Other role stressors are role overload. So when the role occupant feels that there are too many expectations from him or her, it leads to the role overload. So जब उसको लगता है, the person feels कि बहुत सारा काम मेरे ऊपर है. There are two aspects of this stress, quantitative and qualitative. So quantitative is, it refers to the having too much work, and the qualitative means when the work is quite difficult, when the person is not able to do, so he will be in stress. So this is called role overload. Next is personal inadequacy. So it arises when the role occupant feels that he and she does not have the necessary skills and have training for efficiently performing the functions expected from his or her role. This is bound to happen when the organization do not impart the periodic training to enable the employees to cope up with the fast changes which is going to happen in the organization. So here the employee feel that I don't have that skill, so I cannot move on, I cannot implement this change, and this brings the stress to the person, to the employee. Next steps in this role stresses are the role ambiguity. So this role ambiguity refers to the lack of clarity of about the expectation regarding the role, what you have to do, you don't know your responsibility, you are not clarified about the role, so which arise the lack of information or lack of understanding, and this put you in the again in the stress. So it may exist in relation to activities, relation to responsibilities, personal styles. So this is called role ambiguity. And the last step here is resource inadequacy. This type of stress is evident when the role occupant feels that he or she is not provided with the adequate resources for performing the functions which is expected from her or him. So if you are not having those adequate resources, how you will perform? So this is resource inadequacy, which again bring the stress to the person, to the employee. So thus whatever we have learned here, the role stressors that can arise a stress in the organization to the employee, here manager must be well aware of the exact stressors, and he should work tactfully. In fact, I would say try to reduce it to the minimum, and if possible manager should work for it and totally eradicate these type of stress, so that employee can work with the full confidence, with the full productivity. Because if there is no stress, manager can the employees can work entirely with the happy mood and will give more productivity to the organization. Now we'll start the new topic, that is change agent. We'll learn about the change agent. Who is this change agent in the organization? So change agent is a person from inside or outside the organization who helps an organization transform except by focusing on such matters as organization effectiveness, improvement and development. A change agent usually focuses his efforts on the effects of changing technologies, structures and development, and the task on the interpersonal and group relationships in the organization. So the basic focus of this change agent is on the people in the organization and the interaction with them. So change agent is someone who is employed by an organization to change the way in which it is organized and managed. A successful change agent is one who recognizes the opportunity for change, identifies the best approach and makes that change happen in the organization. So we'll see some of the qualities which are required for an effective change agent. We'll start with the broad knowledge, that not only our change agent should not have only this broad knowledge, but it should have multidisciplinary knowledge, conceptual knowledge, understanding of methodology for change and ethical knowledge. So it must be linked with the practical problems in the organization. A change agent must have all these knowledge so that he can make that change happen in the organization. Next qualities that a change agent should have is operational and relation knowledge. So change agent must be able to listen, trust and form relationships, observe, identify and report. So he must be flexible enough to deal with different types of relationships and behavior, because as you know, when a change agent is hired by the company or in any organization, he need to interact with so many people, so many employees in the organization. So he had to deal with different types of behaviors, different types of relationships. So he should know, he should have this relational knowledge as well. Next is homophility. Homophility is what? It is a degree of closeness and similarity between the change agent and the client. Who is client? An employee of that particular organization is a client for this change agent who is hired. So the closer the relationship, the easier and more successful the change. So it is similar to listening to a close friend whom we trust and whose advice is taken seriously. So if I am in a problem or if I want something, someone's advice, to whom I'll contact? My close friend, right? So here in the organization, for a client, this change agent can work as a close friend. So this is called homophility. Next qualities is linkage. So linkage refers to the degree of collaboration between the change agent and the client. The tighter the linkage, the more likely it's the success. So there should be a good relationship between the change agent and the client. That's why if there is a good relationship, then only the client is going to listen to this change agent, that for which company has hired this change agent, this person, right? So next quality is openness. Openness is also one of the quality of the change agent. So it refers to the conceptual environment which is conducive to the development of respect and understanding for each other's ideas, needs and feelings. So degree of openness between the change agent and the client would considerably affect the outcome of the program. This is called openness. Rewards. All members expect that the change must bring potential benefits. These rewards should be both in short run as well as in the long run. The greater the potential of rewards, the more determined the effort would be in making the required change.